All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Friday morning. May God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I pray you and your family are super blessed as Bitcoin is going straight to Pump City, baby. Oh my goodness. I was just sleeping soundly in my bed, not even thinking about the charts, and all of a sudden these massive blue candles pump right into my eyes, waking me up. Oh my goodness, we're pumping. I had to follow along right at the very top. And then we start to dump, of course, and make sure to smash the likes, because if we can get 1,000 likes within the first 30 minutes, we'll be giving away 1,000 USDT. Baby, we're going to be talking about this Bitcoin pump. We're going to be talking about whether or not we got more upside. It is a Friday, and you know what Fridays mean. Volatility. The last few Fridays, we've had some pretty volatile moves. We've also got some pretty volatile things going on in the world. Like, we've got some wars going on, and we got presidents of the United States deciding whether or not they should get involved, and that could cause volatility in the market as well. And speaking of orange presidents of the United States, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Make sure to like and subscribe to Jason Casper. He's the best YouTube trader in the world. He's getting huge. Shout out to the Casper crew.
Man, things are getting so crazy. Things are getting so volatile. That's my favorite word. I love volatility. In fact, I myself am very volatile. Look at how much I'm moving all around. Can barely even balance on this cheap treadmill that I bought on Amazon. Man, what a cool trading setup I have. Super professional. The most professional trading group in the world. The most professional trading channel, YouTube channel on YouTube. Make sure to smash up the likes. And by the way, guys, we got to give a major shout out to the Casper crew VIP Discord, because as you can see right here, we are in two juicy Bitcoin trades. A long trade from literally the exact bottom, a short trade literally from the exact top. Two trade setups given in advance in the Casper crew. And also this week, we gave the short from 108. We also gave the long from 103. So we have been calling these levels in advance, baby. And here we are right now, the Bitcoin price looking like she might want to do something juicy and crazy. Now, I do have to say, there is a lot of local bullishness on the chart right now, but we have to interpret through the lens of what's going on also in the world, and we got to understand, man, things are getting pretty crazy out there, and that can cause short-term volatility. So I'm going to be talking about my next trading plan and how I'm actually looking to trade this price action, because as you can see, you know, I mean, can we see here? I'd say that there is some merit to be had with these trend lines here, this triangle, this potential range that could break either to the up or downside. And we've got some interesting targets and some plans, so make sure to smash up the dang likes, guys. And also remember to check out the free trading course on my YouTube channel. It's free. Make sure to go check it out, all right? We got an 18-part series here on how to trade, and you can tell it's a good trading course. How can you tell? Well, because look at the way the let's see here. Yeah, look at the way the instructor looks, guys. All right? You cannot go wrong when this guy right here is teaching you how to trade. Also, we got to give a major shout out to WEEX. WEEX right now, guys, offering the juiciest fees. We got to give a shout out to BLOFIN. We got to give a shout out to ANTARCTIC and MEXC. And with that being said, guys, let's get right into this technical analysis here. I am quite excited as the Bitcoin is finally getting a little bit of a move after yesterday's nothingness. All right, but here we go. Look at this. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to Splashfire Films. He says the instructor's looking serious. Shout out to Charlotte Jane Lee. Like, subscribe, and check out my course, people. That's right, man. Shout out to Michael. He says, if we can hold 105.7 today, we probably trend up. I was thinking the same thing, my bro. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Bam Bam. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to I Show You. Where's Joe Biden? It's almost like he's dead. Here's good old Joe.
Now let me be clear. I've been dead since 2019, and every time you've seen me on TV, it's either been a deep fake or a body double. But the science is settled. This is all Trump's fault.
And man, I have to be honest with you. Of course, Joe is blaming everything on good old Trump. Trump blames everything on Joe, and Joe blames everything on Trump. Trump and Joe, don't you know? Man, aren't you guys sad? Aren't you guys sad that if there's no more Trump versus Biden? I mean, honestly, I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit sad that there's no more Trump versus Biden. Because I don't know about you guys in the other parts of the world, but everything else in America, everything was about Trump versus Biden. I mean, literally, like veganism versus carnivore was Trump versus Biden. I mean, I'm not even kidding, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Pearl Jam versus Nirvana was about Trump versus Biden. I mean, everything was about Trump versus Biden. It's so crazy, man. You know, McDonald's or Burger King, Trump versus Biden. Everything was about Trump versus Biden. Foreign wars was about Trump versus Biden. Other countries and their own conflicts was about Trump versus Biden. In America, but it's so sad we can't do that anymore over here. Do I use order blocks? Of course I do. Shout out to Sergeant Squid. Shout out to Constantine L, who says, check out the bullish div on the Daily Swee. Shout out to Daniel Protector and Abahai Varma. Shout out to y'all. Make sure to smash up the dang likes, guys. Now here we go. We're going to pop on over to TradingView. We're going to take a look at this juicy pump, man. In just about an hour, we got it was so dang juicy. I can't even believe it. I cannot even believe how juicy this pump was. All right, now let's go to our 4 hour and let's zoom out here. Now, I do have to say this. Locally, we do have a nice kind of direction here on the Cipher. It's pretty neutral, but a little bit bullish. Just the direction is bullish. All right, our daily time frame, printing a green dot. Neutrally bullish here. Neutrally bullish. Neutrally bullish. Now, here's what I would say. We've got ourselves our sideways range. Now, when things are neutrally bullish, that means they're neutral. Let's be honest. And so the way we're going to trade this, especially over the weekend, especially the volatility, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to go ahead and pull the volume here and look at all the volume that we've got going on in this sideways range. Now, we cannot be ignorant of the fact that when we go to our high time frames, all right, look, we're going to start on the weekly here just to paint a little picture. We are, in fact, in a very peculiar situation because we have seen a hidden bullish divergence print back in April. That hidden bullish divergence had the confluence of a regular bullish divergence on these very high time frames. A bullish divergence, if you don't know, is when the price is getting lower to key support. But the momentum waves on market Cipher B are getting higher over time, strangely resembling a set of uneven butt cheeks. All right, the left side full of gravy, full of ravioli, full of high-fat ground beef fat that you drained off when you were making tacos for your kids the other night. And you let it sit there in the bowl for 3 days. You forgot about the fat that was in the bowl for 3 days. Now you go and check, and it's very coagulated in that left butt cheek. You got the coagulation, baby. You got that beef fat coagulation followed by that skinny butt cheek from when you made lean, 97% lean ground beef for your own dang tacos. All right, that's called a bullish divergence. It's all about the taco meat fat percentage. Now, historically, when we've seen these bullish divergences, that is the break of the range. All right, we get the big break of the range. So we have a signal confirmed that tells us we're going to break out of the range. But as we're coming to the top of the range, things are looking strange. We haven't seen the big breakout. We haven't seen that weekly candle that makes us say, oh man, oh man, you know, oh man. We haven't seen that candle. No. All right, what have we seen? Well, we've seen for a few weeks, we're just chilling around doing nothing, baby. All right, so we got to be cautious. Now we got wars, rumors of wars. We got famines, pestilences. We got all these Matthew 24 type things going on in the world. Now look, we're going to keep it very, very simple. When we can't know for certain what's going on, and yesterday we went over a bearish scenario, talking about a bearish summer scenario, we just got to zoom in and say, okay, the high time frame's leaning bullish, but we got to keep it in our local range because most of the time, every asset you trade is going to be sideways. All right, and we can divide these sideways ranges up into sideways ranges within sideways ranges. Right, for example, just let's look at the last 8 months. We had a sideways range. And then when we broke down from that, we had a sideways range. And then when we broke up out of that, we've been trading within a sideways range. Now, these three sideways ranges make up tiny little parts of a big sideways range. We can go back in time and just look and see this is how the price trades. If you want to get into those juicy moves, if you want to be a trader that longs the bottom and shorts the top, which we all want to be, you have to learn how to identify these ranges so that you can get into trades from the bottoms and the tops of the ranges, right? Like, for example, the two trades I'm currently in right now, over here, from the top, from the bottom. Why? Why? How? How? Well, because it's just the top of the range. I mean, we formed right up here a tiny little range. I don't know if you can see it, all right? But literally, this is the 4-hour time frame, and we had this tiny little range right here. And so, you know, what's Bitcoin going to do? Is it bullish? Yeah, it was bullish, but we came to the top of a tiny little range, and then you could take the short trade, given in advance in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, because it's like, look, we're forming a little range. Let's look to short the top of the range, or the long, right? Because we're coming to the bottom of the range. Let's look to long the bottom of the range, right? That's what we're going to do. It's all about the range. Make the change, baby. Making the change at the bottom of the range, taking the trades. Man, I'm feeling it today, guys. Must be that extra strong coffee I got. I love this coffee. It's so good. Sorry. Jason, relax, bro. They're going to put you back in the institution. Get it together. Now, where were we? Right. Back on the chart. Let's go back to the chart. We got ourselves a nice little sideways range to trade right now to make the change with the trades, which is this. Boom. We're going to look at the volume here. Now look at this. The two best places to look for trades whenever you're trading sideways like this are going to be look for shorts when we come towards the top of that high, the top of that fair value zone, and look for longs when we come to the bottom of that fair value zone right here. Okay? This is pretty much what you should be looking at this weekend, honestly. Now, we got some more confluences. Look at this. We got our trend line here, and we even got a trend line right here, forming a triangle within the range as well, okay? In addition to that, if we go ahead and pull our Fibonacci from our high to our low, we can see that the Fibonacci zone between the golden pocket and the 786 lines up perfectly with that trend line. And if we pull from the low to the high, like this, we can also see that the 786 Fibonacci lines up beautifully with the bottom of this trend line and the box as well. All right, now when you have multiple things pointing to a level, that's called confluence. All right, confluence, also known as intersectionality. All right, I know all about intersectionality because I actually, people don't know this, but my major in college was in trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. We learned all about the beauties of intersectionality. Sadly, unfortunately for me, when I graduated with my degree, I was $500,000 in debt and I couldn't find a job. Even though I told the bosses of all the companies I applied for, hey, I know all about trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. I can help take your business to the next level by helping you hire other people that don't know anything about your business, but they know a lot about trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. Of course, they laughed at me. They turned me down. But because I know so much about intersectionality, it helped me become a trader, right? Yeah, I couldn't find a job, but now I became a trader. When you see these areas where everything intersects, these are the places you want to be looking for the trades from. So we got a big pump. It happened overnight. It happened in about 1 hour at about midnight during the Asia Open. Now remember, yesterday was an American holiday, so New York was closed. Today, New York's going to be open in about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 8 minutes if we want to be Pacific. And so we do need to be aware of this. I'd say right around 108 to 109,000. This is going to be our inflection point. Whew, what a word that is. Does that not give you shivers down your spine? Woo, woo. The inflection point. All right, look at this. If the price pumps up to here, we need to be prepared for a rejection. Rejection coming back down to around $102.5 thousand. But I'll be honest with you, if we're coming down to $102,000, I would actually expect lower. I would expect lower because if we get another rejection from here, we're most likely going to go for the liquidity of this trend line, right? Most likely, and we're probably going to come down, I'd say, right around below $100,000. But if something happens over the weekend, now remember, we got a lot of news coming out, man. I mean, there's global conflict going on, potentially. We might see the United States of America enter into a conflict, which is crazy. Hang on one second. And so we do need to be prepared for volatility, but if something happens, right, some kind of bullish news happens, we could see a move above this area, and then what we would be looking for is a back test of 108, 109, and then we could see pump. We could see pump. Why do I say this? Because remember, the oscillators are neutral right now. The oscillators are neutral. This daily oscillator here could turn into something big, right? But it could also just roll over. We're consolidating, we're at fair price. We can't take these signals too seriously, but we could say, okay, we can't take them too seriously, but they have the potential to be something big. All right, they have the potential to be something big. Like that time I got pulled over trading and driving. All right, the cop pulled me over. He said, Jason, you know, you're looking a little bit unclear. All right, you're looking a little ambiguous in your life, but you have the potential to be something big. And the officer let me go that day. He said, Jason, look, I'm going to let you go this time with a warning, because you have the potential to walk on a treadmill with no shirt, but a weighted bulletproof vest in front of 746 people while you draw lines on a chart. All right, this is exactly what the Bitcoin price has the potential to do today or this weekend. All right, so 108 to 109, this is exactly what we want to be looking for. This is exactly what we want to be looking for. Now, we reject from here, then I'd say we're going for all the liquidity, stop hunts down here below, and probably we're going to fill this candle that we made on Thursday, the 8th of May, 2025. Now, we're going to take a look at the order flow right now. All right, because we want to see what's happened. Oh, man. We want to take a look and see what's happened during the past few days here, pretty much. Man, wow. Would you look at that? Wow. Wow, we had a lot of shorts open here that currently got out of their position. This has been Chop City, man. People have been getting wrecked like crazy. But the one thing that we can say for certain is there is liquidity below this trend line. So if we reject, I would say we could see, especially if something happens facilitated by a news release, we could see a fast and hard dump down to our next major support, which would be $97,000, give or take that point of control of this high time frame range, mixed with the support resistance flip coming in from around 97.8. All right, so pretty much the scenarios I'm looking at over the weekend are going to be scenario number uno. In a bullish scenario, we break above the trend line for the back test, and then boom. All right, trend line break back boom. It's called the break back boom pattern. But then scenario number two is actually the push, reject, and drop. The push, reject, drop pattern. All right, the PRD. The PRD pattern. All right. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but we have been getting big moves on Fridays. All right, let's clear off the chart right now. Let's take a look. Last Friday, what happened? Big blue candle, right? The Friday after that, what happened? Big purple candle to the downside. We've seen these big moves on Fridays, right? Friday. Before that, big red candle just coming in. Let's see, where was the Friday before that? The Friday before that, we didn't do much. So yeah, the past 3 Fridays, guys, we've seen some pretty substantial moves. So just be aware that we have seen some substantial moves the past 3 Fridays. So we've got ourselves another Friday today. All right, another Friday today. It's coming in. Hip, hip, hooray for another Friday today. Let's take a quick look at the stock market here. This is the ES mini futures. You know, holding pretty well. We've got this ascending channel. Let's take a quick look at the NQ. Literally looks the same as the ES. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar. Man, the dollar did break down from that head and shoulders. And we are now back testing 101. That's our key support. That's pretty bearish looking for the dollar. Man, the dollar's not looking so great. You know what would save the dollar right now There's nothing that can save the dollar, guys. That's just a joke. Alright, let's get back to our 12-minute time frame here. We're consolidating right now locally in this. Alright, so let's just take a look at this here. We've got this. This was our range from yesterday. Alright, let's pull a fib locally from the low to the high. Let's put on the golden pocket. Okay, so really, if New York opens and we get a little bit of a dump, but we continue to the upside, we would be looking for a back test right now of this trend line. All right, lining up perfectly with the Fibonacci golden pocket and the point of control of the range at about 105,000, a little bit less than 105, 104.5, right? This is now local support. It was our resistance. And of course, if we don't hold there, then we would actually expect to come and just take all these lows. We would actually expect to come back down towards our $102,000 level locally. I'd be honest with you, because if this uptrend is not going to continue, we would see basically what Bitcoin loves to do is like we form a triangle, we break out, but then we come back into the triangle and we break down, and then we probably come back into a sideways range. All right, scenario number 3 is we just do this, Bart Simpson pattern, and then over the weekend, and then we're back to where we started, as Bitcoin loves to do, taking us right back to where we started, y'all. All right, taking us right back to where we started. The dollar. Yeah, you can always trust the U.S. market to dump on market open. Not always, but yeah, a lot of times they do the old 1-2 punch. Why is it a bulletproof vest? Well, because bulletproof vests can allow you to weight them up with plates and ammo and a whole bunch of other stuff that's heavy, right? Shout out to Mag Max Cherry. He says the king is coming back soon. Amen. Shout out to Drumhop. I found out this week I'm being laid off, have a large savings, and getting 3 months severance. Might be time to do this full time. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. What's up, bro? God bless you, man. Shout out to HFG in the chat. God bless you. Shout out to Sudeep. Shout out to Batty, who says, what would you do if you had control of Satoshi's Bitcoin wallet? You know what? If I had control of Satoshi's Bitcoin wallet, what I would be doing right now is walking on a treadmill doing this exact live stream. All right? That's literally what I would be doing. I can't imagine what else I would be doing right now. I mean, I'll be totally honest with you guys. I do not know how my life would change in any way at this moment if I had billions of Bitcoins, which there aren't even billions of Bitcoins, or if I just had what I had now. You know? Is there going to be a VIP live stream today? Yes. 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 Shout out to PMG George Leifer Benterson. He says, Yeshua Akbar. Yeshua is greater. He is greater. Shout out to Chemo and Crypto, who says, happy Friday, Jason. Hope your taters are fruitful and delicioso. Well, you know, I hope so too, man. And I can't wait to harvest those taters. Man, oh man, do I love me some taters. Sadly, I don't have any tater pictures to show you guys right now. But I do love potatoes. One of my favorite things to eat. And if you guys aren't eating potatoes, give it a shot. In fact, try this out. I want you guys to try this out. All right? I want you to try this out. Don't eat any carbohydrates besides fruit, vegetables, including potatoes, tubers, and roots. All right? Don't eat any grains. Just eat lots of fruit. Lots of fruit. So much fruit. Hundreds of grams of fruit sugar a day. And no grains, just potatoes. Sweet potatoes, butternut squash type things. White potatoes. And see how good you feel, man. See how good you feel, because I'll tell you, I've been doing that and I feel good, man. I feel good, yeah. All right. Shout out to Mag Max Cherry. Says, the only thing that matters is the treasure we build in heaven. Amen. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Look, guys. The world is volatile, and nothing is secure in this life. Nothing is secure in this life. All right? You strive to get things and to build up security in this world, And in an instant, everything can be taken away. In an instant, nothing is secure. There is no security in this life outside of your relationship with the Lord. That's the only thing that's secure. Life is unsecure. Life is insecure. Unsecure. I'm insecure. I'm very insecure. Okay? But life is not secure. Alright, MagMax is only 21. Well, God bless you. Man, I wish I could go back to being 21. How do you join the Discord? I'm sure you can do it from Pakistan. I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't. You know? I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't. You can eat anything and feel good, says Mr. Z. Well, Mr. Z, maybe you're a genetic freak, maybe you're young. But I'll tell you this, I used to think that too about myself until I started eating very clean foods, and then I realized, man, I used to feel like crap before. I'll tell you, I used to feel like crap. Man, I've unlocked some new kind of energy, guys. Praise the Lord. But this whole lots and lots and lots of fruits, and like getting all my carbs from like fruit and potato and stuff, that's been pretty good for me, I'll be honest with you. I used to eat a lot of quinoa. I didn't even eat bad grains. I used to eat a lot of quinoa, millet, buckwheat, and rice. Those 4 things. And very rarely would I eat wheat and stuff. I haven't been eating that stuff lately, alright? I've been feeling pretty good. There's something about fruit. There's something about fruit. I mean, I don't know what it is, but there's something about fruit. And here's something else. You eat, I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I don't know what you guys feel like after you eat, because I'm not you, but I used to eat a giant bowl of rice or quinoa, alright? Or even sometimes some sprouted oatmeal. And I would just feel kind of mentally like foggy after that, right? Not necessarily bad, but there's something about fruit, man. I'm telling you, you eat tons of fruit, you know, 400 or 500 calories, 600 calories worth of fruit in one sitting, and afterwards, you don't feel tired. There's no crash. There's no crash. There's no, oh, let me sit down. None of that, man. You just feel good. You got the energy. And no bloating. None of that stuff. Like, I didn't necessarily have bloating, but after you eat a lot of food, you know, you get that stomach distension, right? None of that, man. It's like you eat all this fruit, you're still like small around the waist, ready to go. Digestion on point, man. I'll tell you. Digestion is on point. My live streams give you anxiety like FOMC. Oh man, I'm sorry, Jezebel. Let's take a look at some other assets here while we got the time. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. Alright. Man, Ethereum is still in the sideways range, guys. But Ethereum is breaking out as well. Alright, let's take a quick look. Dave eats Viagra for lunch. Okay, cool, man. Okay, cool. That's good. That's good to hear. Alright. You have to eat those colors. Yeah, man, the colors. The colors. That's what's up. No meat. No, I eat lots of meat. Lots of dairy. I eat lots of dairy. Like, insane amounts of dairy lately. So, insane amounts of dairy lately. Because I've been eating the fruit with like milk and cheese and yogurt. Alright? So let's talk about Ethereum here. And the dairy doesn't do anything bad for me. If dairy does bad stuff for you, stay away. Alright? But I could drink a gallon of milk and not have any kind of reaction from that, okay? Alright, let's see. Did we get 1,000 likes? Nah. Not even close. Not even close to being close. But that's okay, guys. That's okay. That's okay. You know, my YouTube channel is bleeding to death, but I don't care. It is what it is. Now look, let's talk about Ethereum a little bit. We are trading within this range here. We know we need to reclaim $2,700 for a big push up to $4,000. Now, if Bitcoin is going to reject at 108, and if Bitcoin is going to take the lows and come down to around $100,000, we would expect Ethereum also to come down. And honestly, here's what I would be looking for on Ethereum. Do you guys see this wick back here? We got a low, support, wick down to support, flipped into resistance. All right, so a little bit of a zone here. I'd be looking for us to come down and test maybe just around that $2,000-ish zone. You know, we could get a wick, all right? But essentially, we're looking for us to take out all the liquidity that we had from this range going all the way back to the middle of May, right? To retest that 2,000-ish dollar zone. And then we could see if Bitcoin's going to get a bounce from like below $100,000, we could see ETH do the same thing, all right? And if we're going to have that bullishness, this is what we are going to be looking for. Now, if Ethereum loses 2,000 and we don't see a bounce, that is not good. All right, that is not good for ETH. I'll tell you, man. Then we could see ETH get a move back down to 1,700, and that's really not a good look. I'll be honest, for ETH. Now, remember everything. If you watched the live stream yesterday, I was basically talking about the potential of a sideways and bearish summer, which I think is a very real potential. So we have to be using these lines in the sand to determine how we're going to enter into the market. So for me, line in the sand for ETH is like, we don't want to lose 2,000. We're coming down from 2,000. Bitcoin's bouncing, reclaiming 100,000. Ethereum's bouncing, coming up above like 2,200. Then I'd say we got a good reason to try and go for a long trade to come back to the top of the range, right? But if we don't see that bounce, this is why it is very important not to just catch a knife. Wait for some kind of a bounce here. I'd want to see ETH back inside this level here before I look to get into a long trade, right? If we see that we're losing it and then back testing it, we would assume that this would fill very quickly. Now again, we're heading into a weekend. There's a lot of volatility in the world. We could see a news event that could trigger such a dump for ETH as well, because here's the reality of the situation. Unless we get a fake out of the low of this range and the support resistance flip, unless we do this, the probabilities are that we just fill it all, because there's really not much support at all below that $2,000 level. Not at all. I would be very, very hesitant or cautious, unless you're an expert ninja scalper, to be looking for an Ethereum long trade down below $2,000 before we come to like the $1,800 area. We would very quickly come and fill this stuff here. Now, what about short trades? Well, I would say this. We pull our fib from the high to the low, and it becomes apparent that our next major zone of resistance for ETH is going to be right around $3,300. We have the Fibonacci golden pocket. We have the high volume node of the previous range right up here. All right. So if we pump and we break out, please don't be longing into $3,300. What I would do if we actually pump up into this area, I'd say, okay, this is bullish because we've reclaimed 2,700, our key resistance, but now we're at a more local resistance. So then we just wait for a little bit of a pullback before we get long, right? You never want to long into the level of resistance. You want to wait for some kind of a pullback, a retest. And here's the thing, if you don't get a retest, guess what? This is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. Guess what? Just don't take a trade. Wow, that's crazy. But Jay, what if it pumps without me? Okay, guess what? Guess what? The market's going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be here the next day. Maybe, we hope. And if it's not, then you don't have to worry about it, okay? If the market's not here tomorrow, you don't have to even worry about it. But the market is probably going to be here tomorrow. And so there will always be other trades to take, but you don't ever want to FOMO into a position out of emotion, right? That's the number one thing. And guys, honestly, I do have to say, if you have not yet checked out the free course, go check out the free course, all right? You got nothing to lose. It's totally free. All right, look at your smiling instructor right there, all right? Look at how you could tell he's a good trader because he paid to have those perfect teeth put in. You know what I'm saying? That's how you can tell I actually trade and I'm not just faking it to sell courses. I have perfect teeth. You know how expensive it was to get these teeth? Perfect like that, perfectly straight. It was expensive, man, I'm telling you. All right, but yeah, we got a whole entire series here on how to trade and how to do it with the psychology and wait for your setups and all that kind of stuff. In fact, there's a session here that I recommend you guys check out, which is this one, the most boring thumbnail. All right, how to make a trading plan from a blank chart. The most boring thumbnail. Check it out. All right, look at this again with the instructor. Check out that. It's totally free. All right. Also, make sure to check out BLOFIN. 20% cash back if you want to trade. Make sure to check out Antarctic, which is currently having this amazing promotion, lowest fees. WEEX and MEXC. Check out those 4 exchanges if you want to trade. Check out the Casper Proof VIP Discord at jasoncaspertraining.com if you're looking for the setups in advance, the levels, the instructors, everything, the thriving community, the fun. All right. Looks like Bitcoin's trying to get a little bit of a pumperoni here. A little bit of a pumperoni here. J-Boy Bullish is smashing watermelon right now. Starchy potatoes, yeah, starchy potatoes. Gotta eat the starchy potatoes. Is this Jason's brother? Yes, the instructor is my brother. You know? Also down 90%. We need lower. That would be crazy. That would be pretty crazy to see altcoins lower. Yeah, Michael says summers are usually sideways and bearish since big players like to vacation with their loved ones during the summer. That is the truth, bro. That is the truth. Is that how I looked in the 80s? Yeah. Yeah. That's how I looked in the 80s. Shout out to David Brumblebow. 100% not financial advice. You can tell he knows what he's doing. His brain pushed out all that hair so there would be more room to expand in knowledge. Ancient Chinese wisdom. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll take it, David Brumblebow. I'll take it, bro. I will take it. We need lower Bitcoin right now. So why are you bullish on Bitcoin from here? Did you even watch the stream Prime Trading? Look, I told you I'm pretty neutral, and there's a few things that need to happen in order for me to look for a fresh longs. The thing that really needs to happen for me to look for a fresh Bitcoin long is this, basically, a breakout and retest of this level. Right? That's what I need to see. 108, 109, breakout and back test of that. Because we do have some bullishness, all right? And also, the summer sideways down, but locally, even if this happens, guys, and let's just say we have a sideways and down summer, even if this happens, guess what? We could still be in a range for longer, right? Sideways and down, right? So you gotta understand, high time frame context is different than medium term, different than short term. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What's my plan if we have no altcoin season at all? My plan is to make much less money than I was hoping to, really, because I've got some pretty big altcoin bags. I'm looking to make quite a bit of money on them. And if it doesn't happen, then I have to say I was wrong about that investment decision, and I have to then move on to the next one. I mean, what else could I possibly do? You know, there's some things I want to buy if the altcoin pump happens. You know? Alright, DOB says ETH. Yeah, ETH, man. ETH is a sleeping giant, in my opinion, as well as yours. ETH is gonna pump. And ETH is my second biggest hodl besides Bitcoin. Alright? Ooh, is this true? In the moment says, just in! American flag, Federal Reserve's Christopher Waller says, quote, could cut rates as early as July meeting, end quote. Wow! That's reason to celebrate. Is Ondo in my bags? No. I'm just a boring altcoin hodler, I'll be honest with you. I'm boring. I'm super dang boring. I've got the big ones, and Ondo is not one of those, in my opinion. Alright? Alright, DOB also holds a lot of ETH. Yeah, I hold a lot of ETH, and so here's the thing. There's two ways to look at ETH, okay? There's two ways to look at ETH. Way number one, which is the way I'm looking at it, and I have to look at it this way, simply because this is what I hope for, but I think there's a lot of reason to view it this way. Way number one is this. Bitcoin is at all-time highs, and ETH was literally in bear market prices, okay? Meaning there's an opportunity to get into ETH, well, there was, and there still is, at very low prices. All right? Based on Fibonacci extension targets, we could be looking at an $8,000+ ETH, okay? Which means this. Right now, as ETH stands right now, in my opinion, even if we come down to an $800 ETH, all right, there's actually a more reward potential than risk. I know it looks dumb on log scale, but off log scale, you can see that even if ETH takes the low from 2022, if we were to buy ETH right now, based on Fibonacci extension targets, there's more upside potential than downside potential. Even if we just hit a $5,000 ETH, $5,500 ETH, give or take, there's still more upside potential than downside potential here. Like, this, objectively speaking, to me, is a good risk to reward ratio. And I'm sorry, but I'm not one of the people that's going to buy the fact that ETH is dead forever now. I'm just not. All right. I don't think that's the case. All right. It's a big asset. It's number 2 in market cap. All right. I'm telling you, big money is not going to go into things that are down the list in market cap. It's going to go to things that are well established, like ETH, like Ethereum. This is my view on ETH. I'm a big hodler of ETH. Ethereum. So no matter how I slice ETH right now, it's a good thing to be holding. You know, you got these other coins, you know, that in my opinion are still good coins to hold, like Solana. But let's be honest, if we're buying Solana right now, is it a good buy? I mean, yeah, I'd say it's going to pump, but I mean, Sol right now, I mean, if we come up to a let's say we come up to a $500 Solana. It is more reward than risk, but compared to ETH is a better buy right now. All right, and I think they're both gonna pump. They're both gonna pump. I don't think we're gonna have a clear-cut winner just yet. That's just my own personal view. My own personal view. All right, this is definitely not financial advice, guys. I am not a financial advisor. All right, if you can't tell, my major was in trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. Definitely not financial advice, if you know what I mean. Make sure to smash up the likes, guys, because we have over 900 people in here, but we only have 200, 300 likes. Can we get the likes up to 900 in the next 3 minutes? If we can, we'll give away $500. How about that? Smash up the likes in the next 3 minutes. We'll give away we'll give away $500 if we can get 900 likes in the next 3 minutes. Shout out to Eddie in the chat. Shout out to Zara. Shout out to Georgia Vol. He says, which of the top 50 coins has the biggest potential for making massive gains? Not most likely, just potential. Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll tell you this: the way you figure that out is you just load up a blank chart. All right, you load up a blank chart, and you just go ahead and look at the risk to reward ratios, and ask yourself which one has the most potential. So right now, ETH is a good one. Another good one for me is AVAX. Look at AVAX right now. All right. If AVAX comes to its previous all-time high, we're talking about even if AVAX comes down below the 2020 lows, we're talking 6 times more reward than risk. All right. Now, if AVAX hits, let's say, $200, even if it comes down below the 2020 low, that's 9 times more reward than risk. As long as we don't lose the previous 2022 low, talking 13 times more reward than risk, right? You just want to look to see what is the upward and what is the downward potential on some of these assets, right? I mean, I don't know. Look, I'm not a financial advisor. It might be the case that there's never going to be an altcoin season again, and just like how the .com sector completely blew up except for a few things, this could be the case with crypto too, all right? But until that happens, until we can look back and say there was a market cycle where Bitcoin was the only one that counted, then there's still reason to say, man, you know, these assets have history of pumpage, a pumpage. They call it pumpage. Shout out to Drilla. Shout out to Drilla. When are we exercising together? Whenever you want, bro. Always gaining when I'm curling in the squat rack, says Wolf on the Horizon. Am I a Pepe fan? I do have some Pepe, absolutely. Absolutely I do. Ethereum is sponsored by Joe Biden? Oh my goodness. That's scary stuff. Yeah, I do hold Pepe coin. Absolutely, I do hold Pepe. I hold SHIB, Doge, and Pepe. Those are pretty much the 3 memes that I've got. My thoughts on methylene blue and peptide MK677. I don't have any thoughts. I haven't done any research into it, but I don't trust any of that stuff, alright guys? You're injecting things into you, be careful with it, alright? Just be careful with it. I know people are using peptides right now to do the craziest stuff, but you gotta understand, okay? You gotta understand that in life, everything's a give and take, alright? Everything's a give and take. If you're manipulating your body's chemistry in order to get some kind of effect, that's not gonna happen for free. Alright, there's gonna be some kind of downstream negative effect. Alright, you're taking stuff that's gonna make you melt fat and build muscle without trying. I'm telling you, somewhere you're gonna have an issue. Alright, your body is taking resources from other places to direct those resources to where they don't belong. And you're gonna pay. Alright, you're gonna pay. There's nothing you can do as far as any kind of change to your body's chemistry without paying for it somewhere, alright? So it's best to avoid all that stuff in my opinion. You know, what do I know? I'm not a health advisor. But I just know in my gut that anything that seems too good to be true is too good to be true. You're going to pay for it somehow, alright? I know people are going crazy with these Ozempics and all this and these other things that, like, override your body's ability to, like, not grow muscle and stuff. Like, be careful with that stuff, man. Alright? If your body has a system in play to keep you a little fatter and less muscular, there's got to be a good reason for it. And if you're overriding that, I mean, you're probably doing damage to some other areas of your body. Alright? That's my totally uneducated opinion on all this stuff. Alright? Even with these peptides, I'm telling you, these peptides, I mean, they're finding out some crazy stuff right now with all these peptides, but we don't know what that stuff's gonna do. We don't know. We have no idea. There's a reason our bodies are the way they are. But let's see, did we get our 1,000 likes? Any specific reason we're pumped this morning? We're pumped up this morning because of all the fruit and carbohydrates I've been eating. That's why. That's why. David Brumbobo, I'm not including these things. I'm not including vitamins. I'm not including things that you can get just through a normal diet and lifestyle, all right? Vitamin K, vitamin D, these things you will get from your food and from your lifestyle. Alright, I'm talking about injecting peptides into yourself that you would not be able to get through diet and lifestyle. Alright, I think we all know the difference. Alright, you can eat a good diet to optimize all your body's stuff. Do I think this price is a fake out? Am I long or shorting? I'm currently in both positions right now. But I'm in a long and a short. I'm in a long and a short at the same time. Look, I'm not a health advisor, guys. I'm really not. But that's just my gut. My gut tells me that. All right. My gut tells me that. Do I take creatine? No, I don't take creatine. Shout out to Isabella. God bless you, Isabella. Kevin McAloon has a 4-year-old daughter named Isabella. Isabel. I'm sorry, Isabel. God bless you, Isabel. Are peptides bad? Look, I don't know if they're good or bad. I don't know. I'm sure there's a medical reason that anyone should take those, like, or everybody's different. But what I mean is, there's this movement of people doing things to their bodies that they don't really need to do. Like going on hormones, injecting peptides and all this stuff. There's always a context for everything, but in general, you're gonna have to pay for that, man. You're gonna have to pay. There's no way. There's no way. Shout out to Memory Man. God bless you, Memory Man. All right, guys. We didn't get our likes. That's okay. We'll get them next time. I gotta go. May the Lord bless you all. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. All right. Spend time with your families. Seek the Lord. And I will see you guys next week. What gear am I on? Just Tren, Anavar, and Klen. All right, peace.